Well, the chapter provides insight about the challenges and the opportunities that we discovered as we were organizing our CSR discipline. And we thought that that experience would help other companies in similar situations. We're a large company, it's been around for 130 years, and other companies who come from that kind of legacy might find some of the experiences that we encountered helpful to them as they organized a CSR discipline. We've really only begun to reap the benefits of focusing on sustainability at AT&T. And the focus is something that we truly believe that the more that we institute within the company, the greater benefits we're going to reap and the greater benefits that communities will reap. So the chapter providing some of the insights and the experiences, encouragement for companies to get involved in organizing a discipline, we think can encourage companies to go out and have a greater impact on communities. And the health of the communities is inextricably linked to the health of the company, and that's why the discipline really is so very important. One of the things that we have done in the last year is really put a greater focus on our employees. And employees, we think, are a real key to making the company a truly sustainable company as we continue to build that environment that encourages our employees to share their innovations. We've been trying really hard to help employees see how they fit into the overall scheme of sustainability and the impact that they can have on sustainable business efforts. One of the ways that we did it this last year is that we launched what we called Do One Thing. It's an initiative to invite employees to step up and make one behavior change that benefits either them personally, the company, or their community. And in doing so, the multiplier effect of 260,000 employees across the company really can drive great change within the company. So, for example, one of our employees decided to focus on paperless billing, and in the process, saved numerous trees for the planet, but also in a span of 3 months, saved the company about $700,000 on an annualized revenue basis. Another employee was really passionate about recycling and decided to recycle the cardboard within her office, and it saved like $3,500 a year, and it resulted in recycling rebates of like $1,200, and importantly, it kept 50,000 pounds of paper and plastic out of our landfills. And so these are just ways that when you allow employees to follow something that they're really passionate about, they feel good about it, and certainly it produces great benefits for the community and great benefits for the company. I definitely believe that society has a greater expectation on companies to stand up and demonstrate how they are becoming more sustainable. That is driving companies to become more aware of the need, of the demand, both from a customer standpoint, from a share owner standpoint, from a stakeholder standpoint. But I think what is exciting to watch is that companies are realizing that there's real opportunity in sustainability and recognizing that it's not just a do-good initiative, that truly sustainable companies operate in a fashion that produces, yes, benefits for the community, and that's critical, but benefits for the company as well, and that's the whole concept of shared value. And we're seeing an awakening in the market where companies are understanding that more and more, and I think that's just going to continue to grow. There's probably a couple of communications issues that are really important when you talk about driving sustainability into a company. One of them is understanding how culture itself impacts the communications process. And if you don't sync your communications with the culture of your company, then you're basically wasting your time. And by way of example, I would offer that when we began to measure our carbon footprint, if we had told our employees and told our leadership that this is something we wanted to do because it was great for the environment, and we had stopped there, we would have gotten support, but we might not have received the fulsome support that we really wanted. So our culture is a culture where we really need to drive to accountable business objectives, and everything is measured and everything is done in a way that produces that business benefit. So we communicated in a fashion that talked about the benefits to the business and the benefits to the environment, and communicating that shared value enabled us to be consistent with the culture of the company and receive support from the broadest base of leadership and employees as possible. The other communications aspect that's important to keep in mind is that driving sustainability in a company is really more about the psychology of behavior change than it is about putting words on a page, because you're involved in trying to drive change in different organizations, different business units, all across the company. It's not a command and control initiative. So you have to motivate people. You have to talk to them in a way that gets them to make change because they want to make change, not because you want them to make change. And sometimes that can be very difficult, but it's also much more sustainable. So for example, on our employee motivation initiative, our employee engagement initiative, one might have thought that the best thing to do would have been to set an objective, to give an objective for each department to meet a certain number of commitments from employees to drive behavior change and let them operate that and cascade that throughout their departments. But what we did instead is we decided that we would make the entire effort voluntary, purely voluntary. We would invite employees to participate. And what happens then is the employees are making changes and sticking with those changes because they're things that they really want to do versus things that they are told to do. That means that your progress might be a little slower, but it's progress that we think is more sustained in the long run. For the sustainability discipline, it's really important that you know the business. You can't come into a company and really affect change and drive sustainability into the company just understanding about volunteerism or about the environment or about philanthropy. You really need to understand the business and understand how sustainability fits in with the strategy of the business. And that's what's important in order to be effective. And then from that point, you can learn how to motivate the employees to rally around the changes that you think need to happen within the company. So making sure you understand the business and the strategy of the business is really key to driving a successful sustainability function within a company.